Hello, I'm back. So basically I'm going to do another game and hopefully these are getting less boring, right? So I've talked about kind of the game by Rare on the N64. I've talked about Earthworm Jim, which was on the Super Nintendo. I'm going to stick with the Super Nintendo. I forgot to kind of show you it, or didn't forget, but I thought it'd be interesting to actually show you the Super Nintendo in Europe. It looks like this. It's got sort of two-tone grey kind of colour. Obviously the logo there of the Super Nintendo. Now the one in America and Japan looks a bit different. I think it was a bit more square and maybe has slightly different colours. I'm just plugging it back in here. Bear with me. Oh yeah, got the other cable. So I'll just plug this in. And everything's quite basic at the back here. I mean, I'm actually plugged in by a SCART, but originally I used like a TV aerial type connector, which obviously isn't the best for visual quality. So yeah, definitely moving over to that was a good idea. And of course, it moves on every time they release one, on like HDMI type cables now. They didn't have any of that stuff for quite some time. I don't think even the Wii or Wii U has a HDMI cable, but I can't be sure about the Wii U. Definitely on the Wii it didn't. It had some sort of component cable, I think. So let's actually put in the next game, Super Ghosts and Ghouls. Now this came out about 1992, but I think that, especially as I've just looked back, this was actually like a second-hand game that I probably picked up from a game store. Like I think there's probably called Electronics Boutique at the time, but they're actually like what Game became in the UK. I've probably heard about that retailer. If you haven't, yeah, basically there's a store called Game, which is kind of obvious to what it sells. Far more obvious than Electronics Boutique, which just sounds weird. I think they might still be around in some countries, Electronics Boutique, but not in the UK anymore. They got bought out, and I think they got their name changed as well at one point. So, oh yeah, it just changed to EB, and then Game bought them basically, and then they became Game stores. And then Game went through all this kind of carry on where it got shut down, and it's come back, and it's reselling shares. Yeah, they did really badly a couple of years ago, basically, when the crisis was on, financial crisis. Okay, so I'm going to just flick on the switch and tell you a bit more about the game. Let's go into the little corner. Bear with me. Just run my eye a bit. Right, okay, let's get started. Okay, this is the intro. So I forget the entire story, but basically, you're a knight going to see the typical princess, and then she gets captured by some sort of demon. Or spoiler. And then you have to go rescue her. I think it's like an evil wizard that captures her, actually, but yeah, he sends out these demons. So this game's a bit weird as I remember it, because once you get through it, it just starts you again. I think under a harder setting, maybe? But there's no actual, end to this. You can I think maybe if you play through again there's a different ending. I hope I'm right about that now. I always believed that when I was playing as a kid, so if I'm wrong now, then I've just made that up, which is plausible. So let's go. Ooh, I'm looking into a window. Yeah, I think the Super Nintendo had something called Mode 7, I believe, but basically it was kind of a fake. Well, it was used for fake 3D type things like on Star Fox to render like the ships and stuff, but it was also used to do like kind of that weird zoom effect where, you know, you've got pixels and it would infinitely scale them up, well not infinitely, but scale them up so they were much larger without having to like have anybody redraw those scenes. So I'm actually just going to have to pause it briefly because I've just realised I've got it in a tiny little window. What I normally do is sort this out so I can actually see it in a bit of a bigger window because it's going to be tough to play like that. Right, okay. So it's very typical in terms of, you know, it's called Super Ghosts and Ghouls. Ghouls and Ghosts, sorry, let's get it right. So you've actually got like loads of sort of horror style monsters. So these are obviously zombies. It isn't just ghouls and ghosts. No, we've got all sorts. I'm pretty sure the ghouls and ghosts are pretty much identical anyway. So, let's go fight some of these. Going a bit further. Oh no, we've got to play like this fireball monster. Oh yeah, that's amusing. When you actually lose your armor, you actually get two hits basically. One with the armor and one where you're in your pants basically. If I get hit again, I'll get killed. I'll turn into a skeleton. That's the end of that. It's always funny. I always thought it was funny. Is like he's in his boxer shorts. So there's a lot of love hearts on. Now, Capcom made another game not so long ago, but still quite a long time ago. I think it was on the sort of PS2 era games consoles, called Maximo, and basically that was an attempt to do Super Ghouls and Ghosts in 3D. I'm not really sure it was that successful. I did play it. I actually kind of enjoyed it a bit, but it was kind of hard. And then after that, I think they actually did, when the PSP came out, they did actually re-release this with like extra levels. I think actually they changed quite a lot of it. But basically they had it in like 2.5D, which is like 3D models that you just then have the camera facing in such an angle that it looks. Oh, yeah, I should pick that up. Got suit of armour again, so actually 2 bites at staying alive now. Yeah, basically, yeah, it's 3D models. They fix the camera so it looks like this. It's kind of looks 2D, but actually it's more based in the 3D realm. So, and that was actually quite tough. And I think they added kind of a few new weapons and stuff, but it's basically the same game with slightly nicer graphics. But that was on the PSP, and I did buy that. I don't think I actually got through it. It was just so hard, and also being on PSP, I just didn't really want to spend the time on it. I don't really go for mobile gaming, so I'd only played it when I was on holiday, and yeah, I don't think I put the effort in to actually complete it. But there we go. I remember playing this. I have a few two brothers, so they're quite a bit older than me, and I remember going to a pub one day and actually playing this on an arcade cabinet, and then thinking, oh, that's a good game. I think I'll see if it comes out on the console, I'll get it. Now, I actually had been out for a bit and I hadn't realised, but I bought it then second hand. Yeah, I didn't even have a Super Nintendo in 1992 when it came out. I had the Mega Drive at first, and that was probably in like 1993, which I then sold to get Super Nintendo, probably about maybe a year or 6 months later, because I had a NES first, and I don't know, I've got to get on this. Oh no, I still died anyway. I missed it. So yeah, I had a NES as my original console, Nintendo Entertainment System. So I got a Mega Drive first because I thought, you know, the games might be better, and they did have some good games. Don't get me wrong, but I ended up, I got Sonic. Sonic was a good game, but there was hardly any other good games on it, and it was kind of, you know, I knew sort of the quality of the Nintendo games was pretty good, so I went back to the Nintendo. I had to sell my Mega Drive to get it though, because, you know, obviously teenager doesn't have that much cash, so I kind of had to make a decision on what to keep and what to get rid of. And I sold quite a few games as well. I've only got a handful of Super Nintendo games I actually found. Oh no! Made the wrong decision there. And yeah, as I said, I bought this second hand, so it probably means that I just came across it and bought it rather than actually necessarily buying it brand new. Probably just luck that I ended up finding it in a store and buying it, saving up all my pennies to, you know, pay for like a second-hand game, basically, which is still what people do now, right? Or they just wait till a Steam sale or whatever like that. Oh no, get away! Oh, that was lucky. Oh, now zombies, they keep spawning on me. It's kind of annoying. I remember this. I wasn't too keen to obviously give away my games, and I mean they were my games, and as a kid, I was kind of a bit more protective of them, and also, yeah, understandably, if you saved up all this money, which was a lot of money for a kid, somebody having your games, kind of it's a bit of a risk. You might not get them back. But there was I actually did have like quite a few visitors, and also friends I went to visit, and I actually did give this one. Oh no, I've got to kill him before he zaps me. He can turn you into a baby, basically. It's great. There's I like the little things like that. I like getting turned into a baby and having to run around in pants. But yeah, I did give this one away, and I kind of wish I hadn't, because they took it for ages, and I actually had to get my dad to help me drive over there basically in his car and get it back forcibly. And then when I got it, it was just covered in dirt and grime, like they hadn't looked after it. I mean, it was second hand, yeah, but when I actually got it back, it was in a worse condition than a second hand game. And I'm kind of, while my games do look a bit like rough around the edges, like myself now, they're actually in quite good nick for like a game from that era. Let's go. So, oh no, again. I've got to make a move here because I think we disappear as well. Oh, that's essentially, I believe. Okay, so I made it through. Okay, yeah, I've got to remember to stay on these stone bits now. When I get here, I've got to jump. No! Oh, I keep getting wiped out by those things. Oh no, have I got to start from the beginning again? Yeah, this is the only problem with this game. It's really harsh when it comes to you getting all whacked by stuff. You just have to start the level again. I've only got like... Oh, I must have scored enough for like an extra life then. I was going to say I've only got 1 life left, but I should have 2 now. Let's try not to get killed. Let's try to remember to stand on that thing, or at least get to it. I kind of fluffed it there. It's more about the jumping in this, actually. The jumping's kind of a bit awkward a lot of the time, and you have to do kind of a lot of it, sort of almost acrobatic type jumping with him, like that. So that's where I think I'm going to come unstuck. Oh no! All these, I don't know what they are. I think they're meant to be sort of mountain lions or something, or maybe wolves. One or the other. They're kind of weird that there's kind of sandy colour. zombie things. And these guys with their fireballs as well. I don't know what they are. They're kind of skulls with like, flames on them. Oh no. Oh, that was lucky. It's interesting in this one, you can kind of go behind scenery. So, you know, you can kind of have these all really hidden, but almost, you know, some depth to the actual just 2D side-scrolling element by going back into the scene and coming out again. As you notice, this, while it does look quite good, but it's nowhere near as animated as, say, Earth and Jim. There's no smooth flowing animation. It's kind of more sprite based and looks a bit more not necessarily clunky, but it just feels a little bit more stifled. It's not as smooth. That's probably because it's all hand animated, you know. There's no animation while I'm standing there, like between scenes and stuff, and that hand is just like literally 2 or 3 frames and running the same deal. It's just a basic number of frames. Right, I've got to stay here. Let's not mess this up. Okay, so it's these guys next. These are like clams, eyeball clams. I've done that. Okay, I'll get over here now. I believe as soon as I do this... Oh no! Ugh. Yeah! One here. And it just kind of tempts you back, this game, apart from like these treasure chests. Right, that was not a useful weapon. And that's interesting to talk about. So the weapons are kind of like... I've got scythe at the moment. There's like holy water, which was the blue one I had. I believe that was holy water. There's like a little dagger. There's arrows, and arrows, while some of them are useful like later on, oh no, these things keep regrowing. I actually don't like the arrows that much. They're kind of a bit rubbish. And the same with the little blade actually. Okay, this triggers something, so what I'm going to do is, these just keep coming back, don't they? Okay, this is going to come down here. It's like a flaming skull chariot. You've got to make sure that you're not standing in front of it. Just wait here because that's bound to come back. Right, yeah, there we go. Jump quickly here. Oh, I think this one rolls back actually, so go down here, it'll roll back into me. Oh no! And that would have got me anyway. I don't think there's a continuation point halfway, but I might be wrong actually. Yeah, okay, there is. There was. I remember that there were some areas where it does continue, but I couldn't remember where exactly. And it doesn't really mark it either. That visually. Oh, what was why did I do that? Right, okay. Let's try to. Oh no! It's annoying these things grow so fast. Oh, and yeah, they also explode after a bit of time. I don't think that actually damages you unless you're actually standing right in it. But yeah, it's worth noting that there's all sorts of tricky things going on here. Yeah, and they kind of follow you as well, which is a pain. Oh, there's a treasure chest back here. Let's hope that I might get some armour. Oh, there we go. Yeah, okay, so there are little things that come off explosion, but they tend to be a bit... they tend to not be able to hit you. They're kind of slow moving, those ones. So I can just stand here. Oh, see, it's not really getting me. Having said that, there's more of them now. Okay, that one doesn't come back. Now, sometimes, yeah, as I said, it kind of leads me back to go into those treasure chests, but to kind of risk reward, and half the time I'll just avoid them if I can. Oh, that was lucky. You know, you don't really want to go back if you're got a full set of armour, because it'll probably end up with you getting killed. Oh, I reckon, isn't this a bird, the first one? Yeah, bird. He's got a long stretchy neck. Again, that's probably the Mode 7 stuff, like scaling out sprites. So I'm going to have to take him out pretty quickly. He's actually a reasonable boss compared to some of the later ones. You can just keep him at arm's length and kind of get him to bring his neck out to you. I think he spits fire later on. Like literally, oh no, he throws eggs. I think they hatch into little versions of him, but keep him at arm's length and we will win this. And also just silly things like that. I mean, he didn't need to do that really. And if you go below him, you can kind of get him again. I need to get him to go back though. Right, okay. Oh, there we are, he's dead now. Yeah, it's worth noting the message there. Take a key for coming in. Bad English there. Oh, I'm on to the second level. Yeah, it always shows you the map, the stages between, so you know, it's about 5 levels there. You can see like going up to a castle at the end. So it gives an indication of what the level might be themed like. Now there are definitely ghosts in this one. It's like these wisp things that then turn into ghosts. Let's click on this, hope for the best. Oh. There we are, turns a ghost. Oh no! I definitely didn't want to pick up that bloody dagger though. I hate those daggers. I'll stick with it. Oh no, it's going to be a ghost. Oh, I accidentally fell in the water. Is that it? I've got killed. There we go. Game over. That was a quick one, wasn't it? I can continue though. I've got 7 credits as well. Especially as I've only just started that level. But yeah, that was one of the things. These games are rock hard. Rock hard. Super Ghosts and Ghouls. Ghouls and Ghosts even. Actually, I'm just gonna check, because I believe there is like one of each. There's like a ghost. Cool. I keep changing the names around. No, it was always Ghouls and Ghosts apparently. I always get it confused in my head which order it is. There's Ghosts and Goblins there. I think that might have been the one that I played at the arcade, actually. Let's have a look. Let's bring up some images of it. Yeah, the one that I played at the arcade was Ghosts and Goblins. So that one, you have to put money in it. And I mean, look how hard this is. So basically, if you can imagine that putting, what, 20p maybe at the time into an arcade machine, I mean they're at £1 or 50p now, they tend to be anyway, and then losing that straight away at that time would just be sort of gutting. And I remember being in the pub and just putting money in with my brothers to try and get further, and we didn't get much further than kind of the first level. Now this one, the water rises, so you've got to kind of be careful. You can't go back down, you have to kind of keep moving. Goes to the big pain in this one. Especially sometimes you'll be on this and they'll hit you while you're on this. Oh, I think that's a mimic one. Oh, what? Oh, I got caned straight away. should have just got an option. Yeah, but again, it's taunting you. Risk and rewards. Should you stay and pick that up, or try and kill it, or should you go up? Probably should have gone up and ignored it. The trouble is, these things do tend to have a habit of chasing after you. Oh, I didn't really want the axe. The axe is also rubbish. I think about now they also start bringing in like a new set of armour. So later on, I think even by level 2 you can get up to like there's a green armour and then gold, I think. And basically as soon as you get one of the different coloured ones, what you can do is charge up your weapon, or you get like a bit of a magic effect to it. And I buy the the maximum one. Oh shoot. Right, okay, let's just get out of here. Play the bloody quick move. Oh, there's another one of those dodgy chests with a little ghosts in. Let's forget about that. Yeah, basically you get better ammo and not ammo. Basically, it's just kind of spell type effect. No. So it's worth getting them if you can, but as badly as I'm doing it at the moment, we might not get that far. Then again, I probably won't play through all this. I'm just kind of showing off the game and having a chat about what I was doing and where I think the games were going at that time. So yeah, I guess 1992, to say it's not the fluid animation of Earthworm Jim is a bit unfair, because they probably did the best they could at that point. I could make this go back. Yeah, I can if I press back. So, I mean, the visuals are reasonably good, and they put a lot of detail into it. And there's quite a lot of interesting dynamics going on here, because obviously, as I said, they're making you go back and pick stuff up. I'm probably not going to be able to get that back. And they've obviously got quite a lot of jump type puzzles. With the double jumping and everything, and we've got going back into the scene, and this bit where the waves are going up and down, so it's actually dynamically moving. So there is kind of a lot going on here. And this bit, I think, we'll go here and then drive it forwards. It kind of drives forwards, you have to jump on it. And these bits, we have to go to sort of destroy part of the scenery to get through. I might have gone a bit too far forwards, and let's hope that I don't come a cropper or anything here. Oh! Oh, I just survived that by having invincibility still. It didn't kind of run out. Oh no, I forgot about that though. You've got to kind of take those bits out. It makes it too hard to get over, really. I think the boss at the end here is kind of like the giant crustacean type shellfish type thing. It has a pointy shell and it's kind of a bit horrible. It starts firing like sort of almost Buzzsaw type attacks at you. Okay. Let's see if I get that far. So yeah, I probably would have actually got this about the same time as Earthworm Jim, to be honest. It's kind of, yeah, it wasn't exactly a modern game then. But it's fine. I mean, that's it. There's a kind of big push to like get the next big thing at the moment, or get into the new hardware. There's still a lot of really good games that are 5, 10, 15, I'm going to say 20 years old, but some of them, when I've replayed like really old stuff, I've not enjoyed it as much as I thought I would. I mean, there is a degree of that, but I remember that retro kind of made it a bit of a comeback just after uni, and like, we started playing games like this again. And also with the 360, there was like a lot of retro games on the arcade, and that was in like 2008 sort of time. It's like another resurgence of old games, but a lot of the old games that you play actually aren't that good. They actually suck quite a lot. It should be enough, right? Yes, timed that just about perfectly. Oh, and there's this little sort of weird goblin water creatures as well here. Oh, yeah. I think that's an indication that I'm not alone here. Oof. I really wish I could find some more armour though, because yeah, this actually sucks quite a bit. Oh, I'm going to wait here, because I think... Oh no, I fell right into it. Oh, I'm out of lives. I'm out of lives. Do I want to continue? I don't know. But that, yeah, basically that's Super Ghosts and Ghouls. I'm not actually going to go through it anymore. So yeah, I'm just sort of going to wrap up now really. I mean, I would play through more, but it is kind of a difficult game. It's a great game, but it is really difficult, and I just wanted to sort of introduce it rather than actually, going through a whole playthrough. So basically, I think that originally this was on consoles like the NES and the Mega Drive before they re-released it as Super Ghouls and Ghosts, basically. I think it was actually released in about 1988 or something like that, between 1988 and 89, when it was just called Ghouls and Ghosts. Now it's been on like quite a few other consoles as well. I mean, as I said, you can get Ultimate Ghouls and Ghosts for the PSP. So if you find like one of those lying around, and the games are still kind of accessible at this point, you can actually pick up a copy of the game and play through it. But it's really kind of a difficult game though, and somebody sort of pointed out it's like Dark Souls or something like that. It's really, really tough. But that would be the modern equivalent. So you have literally 2 hits and you're dead, and then it puts you back miles away from where you started, and it is quite tough. I mean, all those little obstacles that were hitting me, or just trying to jump out of the way of things, it was just really, really tough going. And I'm sure I damaged my controller at least playing it, because I was just getting frustrated at it. I mean, I have played it all the way through, but it was certainly a game where you had to concentrate. I can't talk and play this kind of game. So yeah, you can probably pick it up on the PS3 and Xbox Live in the arcade somewhere. I believe there's like a Capcom arcade cabinet type thing that's actually got it on. It's also on the Wii and Wii U. If you could go into their the Wii store, WiiWare store, I think, and that should have it. So there's lots of opportunities to play through it. I think that maybe it's not the Super version, but certainly the original Ghouls and Ghosts is available in different incarnations on those. So go and try them, because the levels are not exactly identical, but I think there are quite a lot of similarities between them all. And certainly it's like, you get that sense of how difficult this game is from actually playing it yourself. So I hope you've kind of enjoyed it, kind of learned a bit about gaming, and bit more about me. I hope that you carry on watching these, and I'm going to definitely do like a longer game next time. I think maybe not on the Super Nintendo, as we've had 2 games on that, and this one hasn't been very long either. I want to specifically pick a game that I'll actually be able to talk about in a bit more detail and length. And yeah, I really don't have that much to add on this one, so that's why I've kind of gone through it quite quickly. Okay, so thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.